What's up, Totem Pole Nation? Welcome back to another episode of Lambo and Matt's World of Sports. Today we are getting into the Chiefs and Bills game from last night, and then we have to start having a serious discussion about Patrick Mahomes, man. 6 straight AFC Championship appearances for the Chiefs. That is every single year that he has been the starter for this team. They have made the AFC Championship. So we got to start having some serious conversations about the man. Let us know what you guys think in the comments. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Shout out to, Totem Pole Nation as a whole. Shout out to Sideline Sports Network. And then if you want to support the boys, totempolenation.com is scrolling in the ticker. You can go there to get some gear. Without further ado, let's get into this episode.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, all right, the Chiefs beat the Bills 3 out of 4 times, which is crazy. I think the only time they lost was this season when they lost 24-20. But the Bills were at home, all right? All you Bills players was talking, we at home, Bills Mafia, the fans shoveling the snow, all right? You had all that home field advantage, but then you screwed it up. You lost, all right? Buffalo had multiple chances this game, multiple chances to win the game. I thought this game, from watching the game, was pretty even. And both sides were scoring the ball. Before the fourth quarter, both teams had a combined of 45 first downs. Buffalo had more first downs than the Chiefs. So how did you lose this game? Now, the kick was the main reason by Tyler Bass. I wouldn't want to fire the man. Everybody misses kicks.
They just paid him. They're not going to fire him. They just paid him.
I just want the fans to calm down about that. He doesn't.
He had a great season too.
Yeah, he don't miss that many kicks. But also, I didn't like what Sean McDermott did. I think it was in the third or fourth quarter with that fake punt. I don't understand that. You're not one. You're not Dan Campbell. All right, you didn't disguise that enough. I mean, it was by the alignment of the Chiefs defense, it was pretty obvious you knew he was going for a fake if you had that many guys on the line of scrimmage, plus some little help from the linebackers or whoever, all right? The fake was 4th and 5, not 4th and 2. It was 4th and 5 from your own territory. You gave the Chiefs the ball in field goal position, but I think they fumbled the ball, I think, as well. But Cole Harmon fumbled the ball. And, rolled up, fumbled that ball, and it was a touchback. That's the only way Buffalo got saved. If it wasn't for that, the game would absolutely be over. So they got very, very lucky. Stephon Diggs, one of the top receivers in the game. He dropped the deep pass that Josh Allen gave to him in the fourth quarter. Excellent deep ball right through his hands. But also, to all you fans that shitted on Dak Prescott and said that Josh Allen was better, let's be real. Josh Allen did not have a great game. No, he did not. I'm not going to blame all of it on Josh Allen. It's a team thing. But Josh Allen did not have a great game. He did not. He threw the ball 16 times behind the line of scrimmage. 16 times behind the line of scrimmage. I'm not sitting on him and saying, oh, it's bad quarterback play. I mean, you got to go with what the coach calls. But let's just all the Dak Prescott slander. Let's give it to Josh Allen. He did not play his best game. He missed a couple throws. Remember that 2nd and 9 throw, the show for the same play 2 years ago or last season that they hit with Gabe Davis, a little post route wide open in the middle. It was the same play. The guy missed him. I understand that Chris Jones pushed the left tackle into him, but Josh Allen, you're a mobile quarterback. You have to step to the right or you have to step up in the pocket and make that throw. That's a touchdown right there. That's a touchdown. You miss some key throws. In that 3rd and 9, you had a wide receiver wide open down the crossing route, but you threw it away in a pylon near Stephon Diggs. But you could have got that first down. It's about moments when it comes to the Buffalo Bills. They had multiple moments, but they failed. This is why Patrick Mahomes is at the top of his game. When moments count, Patrick Mahomes is there. When it comes to the Buffalo Bills and Josh Allen, he didn't make the moment. When the play they needed him to make, he didn't make it. I understand that part of the game was on the kicker. But when moments matter, it's all about moments. He didn't make the moments. The Chiefs ran the ball a lot better this game than they did all damn year. Isaiah Pacheco being aggressive, running downhill. The Buffalo Bills, even after they mixed field goal, had a chance to stop them. They went for 9 yards on first down. So Opportunities. It's all about opportunities. Josh Allen passed for 186 yards. That's like all you dumbass Philadelphia Eagles fans saying Jalen Hurts had MVP stats with 150 yards and interception. Well, 26 for 39, 186, and one touchdown. One touchdown. Now, I understand Josh Allen is a great. He ran the ball very well for 2 rushing touchdowns. I understand that. But at the end of the day, when it comes down to it, Patrick Mahomes made the plays when it counted. The Chiefs played mistake-free football except for that fumble. But Buffalo, when it comes to it, I mean, I understand both teams had, some turnovers, one fumble maybe, obviously, from the Bills. Correct me if I'm wrong. But at the end of the day, Buffalo had a chance to win the game. We have to give the props to the Kansas City Chiefs. 6 straight AFC championships since the Patriots. My Patriots fell downhill and all this blah, blah, blah stuff. Well, I don't know if we'll be back anytime soon, but I'll give credit where credit is due to the Kansas City Chiefs. They did it. We slept on them for a while. We weren't shitting on them, but let's just be real. This is the best football the Chiefs have played all season offensively. Name me one game, since all of you people are so smart, that you watch football more than us, which is not true at all. Name one game where you see the Chiefs offense look like that. Just name one game. I hadn't seen it. They struggled. They lost to the Packers. They've lost the teams they're supposed to beat. Now, I understand it's the playoffs and it's a different game, but I'm going to give credit to Kansas City where it's due. 6 straight AFC Championship games. Andy Reid has them on the books. They're going to play a tough Ravens team. But to all you Buffalo fans, since I'm close to New York right now, stationed in New Jersey, and I know you have some Bill fans right in my state, but at the end of the day, the Buffalo Bills had a chance, and you didn't execute on it. So it's not my fault. Don't blame all in on the kicker. Blame some of your wide receivers and blame that dumb-ass fake punt.
Yeah. All right. So first off, what's up, Oreo? Thanks for hopping in and watching us. The Bills, man. And so, I was talking about it with Troy last night when we were on the live stream. I wanted the Bills to win because I'm getting a little bit of, winner's fatigue with the Chiefs. But I also, you brought it up, the Dak and Josh comparison that's just never presented in a fair light. Also has me sort of biased against Josh as well. And I love him as a quarterback. I think every time he goes on an interview or a show, he's always really cool. But there's just something about me that I'm show these guys that it's not all easy in the playoffs and everyone wants to shit on Dak all the time. If we want to look at obviously Josh has a slightly better playoff record. But statistically, he's pretty close to what Dak has done. And there's a bunch of good quarterbacks that, until this year with Lamar, he hasn't really won in the playoffs either. I think he has the same playoff record as Dak right now. Now, obviously, Dak was in a couple of years before Lamar, so I understand all that. He's also missed 2 years to injury, so we can put all that stuff aside. This game in particular, I agree. I think that the Chiefs offense, having both Pacheco and Edwards-Helaire, super active, we've really only seen one go at a time. And that's not one only getting all the touches. It's just normally this year, we haven't seen the offense been able to run the ball this well with both backs. It's either been Pacheco has a good game or Helaire has a good game. It hasn't really been both of them at the same time. So that was big. We didn't see the Travis dropping passes. We didn't see their receivers out there struggling to get open. Now, obviously, Hardman, tough day. I think both times he got the ball hit the ground. So, got to get a little bit more grip on the ball. Can't be fumbling it, especially that. Oh, can we talk about how much people hate the fumble out of the end zone rule being a touchback? Yes. I like it. I think it makes sense. If the offense fumbles the ball at the 2-yard line and the defense recovers it at the 2, does the defense not get the ball there? Why is it that if you fumble it through the end zone, the offense should still keep the ball? It's a turnover. You turn the ball over.
It's called a touchback. That's what it's called.
It went out of the back of the end zone. That's the rule. If there's a kickoff, and the guy touches it, and then say like you get your hands on it, but you don't grasp it, and it still goes out of the end zone. That's still that team's ball, like the other team's ball. You don't get it just because you had the ball last. Like you fumbled it out of that end zone. Oreo will be on for probably like an hour and a half. So we got a lot of NFL to talk about. Either way, I just, I think that the outrage about that rule, and it's all over Twitter. I'm sure you've seen it. Just people being like, this is the worst rule in football, blah, blah, blah. Bro, every single rule in the NFL right now is garnered towards the offense scoring more points. That's where all the rules have gone. That's why you can't, take people's heads off over the middle anymore. Protecting the quarterback so much. It's offensive driven. Fine. That's a different debate for a different day if you don't like that. But in this circumstance, when every single rule is pointed towards the offense having more success, throw the defense a bone here. If you fumble the ball through the end zone, it's a touchback. Get over it. So those are my thoughts on that. This game, the fake punt was ridiculous. And I think the best way to put it was Pat McAfee today on his show goes, this isn't a Disney movie, all right? Just because it should work and you think, oh, this would be such a great moment putting DeMar in and DeMar can get those 5 yards on a fake punt. This isn't a Disney movie, dude. It's not that, like, that doesn't have to work. That was a bad play. I mean, Dan Campbell, I think, is the most, like, he's definitely the best at it this year, but he also tries it the most. So you can also put it under, if it works, is he then like we're talking about it like, oh my God, he's so smart, blah, blah, blah. So I get that, but I think everyone's kind of on the same page here that was ridiculous. I don't know what the thought process was, why they thought that was a great idea. The missed kick is a missed kick. I mean, if it hasn't happened to your team, then knock on wood, you're the luckiest fan alive. All right. Everyone has lost a game because of a kicker. And it just sucks that he had, probably one of the best seasons of his career in Tyler Bass. He just got paid in the offseason, multi-year deal. Like, he's sticking around. They're not going to cut him. But, that's just the way it goes. And also, I feel like a lot of people are forgetting that the Chiefs would still have, like, a minute and a half after that with their timeouts. You think we think Patrick Mahomes isn't getting down the field and at least getting a field goal? Like, at least a field goal, like a minute and a half with 3 timeouts?
I still think he's getting that. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, I don't really think it's much of a question if he was going to put them in that situation. We've seen him do it too many times. We saw him do it with 13 seconds against the Bills. We can't be putting it all on the kicker. And the last thing I'll say about this game, and before we move on to, like the 6 AFC championship appearances and everything, Josh, in the 3 games that he's played the Chiefs in the playoffs, has played well. I think he's got like 7-to-1 touchdown to interception ratio, whatever 800 divided by 3 is. So 267 a game. He's done well. Low 60s completion percentage, but Josh has never been a high completion percentage guy. So he does deserve a little bit of credit when it comes to it really. Now, you can point today under 200 yards with a bunch of attempts, most of them having to be screens. That's not all on him, but at the same time, the blame has to be assessed carefully because Josh's stats, if you're just looking on paper, which is obviously not the best way to grade a football game, but if you just look on paper, he's not the issue when it comes to the 3 games in particular that they've played the Chiefs. Just other things have fallen apart. Play calling hasn't been the best. We get to see the Chiefs again. Yeah.
Well, here's this. Do you think it's too early to compare Mahomes and Brady? Despite Patrick Mahomes' great success since he got drafted, in 2018 or 2017 under Alex Smith. Played against Tom Brady in his second and final year in New England. Is it safe to say that he's could possibly be the GOAT next to Tom Brady? Is it too early to say that, or do we have to have more evidence and proof?
I think it's too early. Now, I said this to Troy yesterday as well. I think this can be very similar to the Bron and MJ situation. Because with Bron, he went to what, 10 finals in a row?
Yes.
And he won, and he's only got 4.
Yes.
MJ has 6. So does Pat need to get to 7 to surpass Brady as the GOAT? I don't think so, because I've been vocal. I think Bron is the greatest basketball player of all time. And I think if someone were to make the case for Pat, we would first have to wait till he's closer in rings, because I think if we look at who's better at just throwing a football, I think Aaron Rodgers is better than Tom at throwing the ball. But everything else that comes to at the line, the locker room, everyone getting better around you, that's part of what makes you great. That's the Tom argument in this, right? So I think for Pat, we just need to see more when it comes to rings. Obviously, he's been a starter for 6 years, and he's been to 3 Super Bowls, and he's won 2, and he's been to 6 AFC championships. It shouldn't be hard. If he is going to be the undisputed GOAT, we shouldn't have to wait too much longer, right? He's already on that trajectory, so we'll just have to see.
What is that? What is that?
A long thing offering to manage us. That's okay. It's all right.
That's whatever.
It's all right.
But
you know what I'm saying? It's statistically, he'll get, if he plays as long as Tom, I think it's going to be just like Bron. Bron has all these longevity stats because he's played the game so long. And that's what Tom has right now. And Pat, being that he hasn't had a major injury yet, knock on wood, then he shouldn't have an issue getting those longevity stats. And so then all he would have to do is get at least within 2 or 3 rings. I think 7 is just so crazy that he's going to have to get 4 at the very least and 5 to be, I think, seriously widely considered as, the GOAT.
I would say no, and I'm not saying no in a disrespectful way. I like Patrick Mahomes. I have nothing against Patrick Mahomes, but if we're being honest, especially with the Tom Brady situation, I don't think we're calling Tom Brady to go after 3 Super Bowls. Here's why. We forgot that Tom Brady went 10 years without winning a Super Bowl. I know how difficult that was, 10 years without winning a Super Bowl. And everybody said that Tom Brady was done and washed up and all this other stuff. And then since from 2014 to 2020, he's won the Super Bowl every other year. Now, for the Chiefs, it looks like they have an easy slide. I'm not saying it for me. I'm talking about from the fans' perspective that doesn't really understand deeply into football or doesn't understand how the game works, how practice works, things like that. It's not easy making 6 straight AFC championship games. That is not easy. If you think it was easy for the Patriots to make the Super Bowl every other year, well, they have Tom Brady. Well, sure, that's not easy. That's hard work, dedication. That's the work you're putting in. But if you look at the stats through the first 7 seasons, all right, Mahomes has way better stats than Brady, but these are 2 different teams. A Belichick team was all on beating you, make you beat yourself. A defensive team, they could score on offense, but see, back then in the era of the Tom Brady era, it was more of an I formation, be physical. The offenses are not the same. Patrick Mahomes basically changed the game for the offense in the NFL. Sling the ball deep, RPOs here and there. I know Lamar Jackson did some RPOs and stuff, or they were doing it a little bit earlier before these guys got drafted, but this offensive game has changed. And I'm not blaming neither quarterback. for the culture change of football. It is what it is. People change the offenses. It's a different identity in football. It's just like you said. You can't hit them in the head like you used to. You said the game, the rule side was for the offense when you mentioned that fumble. It's all towards offense scoring more points. In this era, they're scoring more points. Back then, they weren't scoring that many points. I mean, you had a couple of games you scored 40, 50 points, but back then, you could play defense. So, I mean, I understand that Tom Brady had 0 MVP awards. He was 12-2, 3 AFC titles, 3 Super Bowls, only passed for 2,100 yards, 21,564, 147 yards. But they see that Patriots team was a defensive team. They're all defense. They had all Hall of Famers. Patrick Mahomes already has 2 MVP awards, 13-3 in the playoffs, 3 AFC titles, 2 Super Bowls, 28,424 passing yards, 219 touchdowns. He's already passed Tom Brady for the most playoff QB wins in the first 7 seasons since 1950. So I understand that Patrick Mahomes has had the blueprint under Andy Reid. Andy Reid, like I said, Andy Reid's a great coach. But what did Andy Reid do before Patrick Mahomes? He had Donovan McNabb, Kevin Cobb, forgot the other quarterbacks. But my point into this is I don't want to jump on the GOAT conversation yet. Now, do I think Patrick Mahomes is the greatest in the era as far as, if you're number one quarterback, who you want as your number one quarterback? I take Patrick Mahomes. But also, Lamar Jackson's having a great season too. And you've already mentioned Lamar Jackson hasn't won, some playoff games here and there. And I mentioned that the Ravens hadn't only won 2 playoff games since 2015. I think it's too early to compare him to Tom Brady. I know the media wants to compare the man to Tom Brady, but I understand Tom Brady was on a different level when it comes to that. And the reason why I say that is because nobody expected a 6th-round pick to even win 7 Super Bowls. Nobody expected that shit at all. Patrick Mahomes, he was a 1st-round pick. He was pick number 10. The Houston Texans, I think, traded a pick to Kansas City. I think they got the
Bills.
The Bills traded a pick. Okay, so the Bills traded a
Which
pick.
is crazy considering who the Bills keep losing to.
Yes.
They gave him Patrick Mahomes.
So yeah, that's that part. Like I said, I love Patrick Mahomes. I like what the Chiefs are doing, but it's not all just Pat Mahomes. It's the pieces around him. It's Travis Kelce. It's Andy Reid. It's the good assistants that he has around him. So it's too early to compare him to Tom Brady. It's a little bit too early. Now, if he wins, maybe if he wins the Super Bowl, maybe there'll be more things to talk about because would it be 3? It won't be 3 in his first 4 years, but into his 7 seasons, like Brady won 3 Super Bowls, even though he won 3 in his first 4, and then the 3 of those he went to the Super Bowl, and 1 of those he lost to the Giants. If he wins the Super Bowl this year, it might be a conversation to talk about just because of his stats.
Yeah, and so to your point with the scoring, what did we see the year after that, going to the Super Bowl drought for the Pats? They got Randy Moss and he got the single season touchdown record, and that was in 07. That was before the league was, pass happy, offense happy. You could still definitely play defense in 07. The hardest hitting highlights or whatever of that era are insane. That's Troy Polamalu, Ray Lewis, hard hitting guys back then. And he had the best passing attack in a season that we've ever seen. And then what do we see when he goes to Tampa and he's not in a Bills system or Josh McDaniels system, I guess. He throws for 4,500 yards. That's the thing with the Brady comparison. Bills fan here, Fiery Prod says, or Fiery Productions, I'm assuming. Chiefs suck. We need a kicker, and he was in his head. Well, you already paid your kicker, brother. He's there to stay. So he just had a great season. Like I said earlier, if you've never lost off of a kick, then I don't think you've been a football fan for very long. It happens to everybody. Bass is one of the good ones. He's been one of the good ones for a while. I don't think it's time to give up on him. And like we said, the Chiefs still had a minute and a half and 3 timeouts. They were scoring on y'all. Hate to break.
They was going to score anyway.
They were going to score. So back to that. The scoring discussion. Stats, excuse me. Stats, yeah, if he wins another Super Bowl, it's more of a conversation. But it's similar to how, people were comparing Ja to Derrick Rose in the NBA, right? Because
Yes.
Ja was putting up, 26, 27 points or whatever when he was super young.
Yes.
And they were comparing D Rose only putting up 22. And it's like, dude, when Derrick Rose was playing, when they were going to the playoff games were ending 92 to 85. The scoring of that era is completely different. So to compare stats of an era where, in Tom's case, this would be D Rose's case, it's not offensive focus. The offensive efficiency rating was not the main focus. It was defense, right? Or running the ball. It's not shooting threes. It's not, all these ways of getting more points. Whereas in Pat's era, in this metaphor, Jaws, it's all about offense. It's air raid. It's, spreading the ball out in West Coast. It's efficiency on offense, and the rules have changed to help that. Same way in the NBA. You can get sneezed on in the NBA and you're at the line for 2 shots. That's how it is for the offenses in the NFL as well. So I think the stats comparison is there has to be a lot of context added before you can line up those 2 stats from, 18 years apart.
Yeah, I do agree. But this is it for Lambo and Matt's World of Sports. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to Totem Pole Nation. We also want to thank Solid Sports Network for the platform as always. And thank you to all you fans who watch Totem Pole Nation and Lambo and Matt's World of Sports. We'll catch you in the next episode in the next 5 minutes. Adios. Y'all take care. Peace out.